Hello everyone, and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today's replay, it's me playing, and I'm in an Atlanta. And just want to point out, I had my anti-air disabled here just to lure those planes in, and once they were pretty far inside my anti-air bubble, I decided to go defensive fire, and poor guy just lost almost all of his quadrants, even though he tried to run away immediately, and he noticed it. But anyway, I'm in an Atlanta and I'm on fault line. It's unfortunately a standard battle and I hate standard battles. But I'm top tier, which is nice. I'm divisioned with a friend who is in a Lyon. And while we both spawned here on the right side, I decided to go here. Atlanta might be a decent ship to just have a look at this channel. It's more destroyer territorial, right? There isn't that much room to maneuver, and it can become a little bit of a death trap, but as a radar cruiser, kinda like fighting destroyers. Now my destroyer didn't go for this channel here on the right, but instead decided to scout the center with only 2 destroyers. That's an okay decision from him, but it means I was careful here, I was providing some anti-air support so far, and now I'm moving out and see if I can't hit that destroyer inside the small gap here. Now meanwhile my division mate is more going towards the left flank. Now I've often said you wanna stay on the side where you spawn, but this isn't really good territory for battleships. I mean, he could hold position somewhere here on our side, try to get shots, but I think going towards the left side is more profitable, especially since we don't really have battleships going over there and the others are coming our way. So it's very good for him to go over there and about. Now I've used my radar here in order to spot the destroyer. I was honestly thinking the destroyer would have stayed a little bit more towards my side here in this channel, and unfortunately he just charged out on the other side. I was hoping our destroyer would prevent the enemy from making a move as such, but it looks like the enemy destroyer went for it, which turns out a good decision from him, because if he stayed in this channel a little bit longer, I could have taken him down. Now the enemy team doesn't really have ships around here, so I'll probably just try and challenge this Leander. Especially since I have a friend in Nuremberg here. I could just stay here in this gap, but I don't think that's very profitable. And we have quite a few ships here, so maybe an aggressive move might be a good idea. Overall, no ships have been lost yet, and let's see what I can find here. And the Leander is charging in, not really a good thing for me, because, well, that's some pretty dangerous armor piercing. Fortunately for me, he didn't shoot when he had a good opportunity. He still isn't really shooting for whatever reason. And I went for armor piercing, got the citadel off. Unfortunately, he's already too much angled now, so we are going back to high explosive. So instead of shooting an Atlanta, and let's just face it, an Atlanta is a very lightly armored ship, so his armor piercing could have wreaked havoc with me, but he decided to just barely scratch my ship and instead waste his time with torpedoes. So yay! Basically a free kill for me. Now the enemy team has almost all of the ships on the left flank, which we can see. We've lost our destroyer there, which means we've also lost some spotting. We don't really have anyone to stop this push, so we either need to go defend or we need to be aggressive. Now we have some battleships here who may or may not be pushing, so let's see how this turns out. I will obviously go forward here and try to engage this Furutaka together with the Nuremberg. Furutaka doesn't have much help, the destroyer might still be around, but hey, I'm a radar cruiser, so I'm not really afraid of that destroyer. The only thing we might have to worry about is the battleship in the enemy spawn, which could, well, devastate our slightly armored cruisers. Now this Furutaka is already taking quite a bit of damage coming this way, and well, if he comes this way like that, I might be a good idea to load armor piercing. Now I can't use my own torpedoes because I have a Nuremberg in front of me, but that Nuremberg might just go torpedo this Furutaka. The Furtaka will likely torpedo us in return, and there is even a smoke screen I can use. Well, I mean, I can't really use it because I'm too close if a fire get detected. But I don't need to do anything at all. Nürnberg took care of it. And it doesn't look like the enemy had time to launch torpedoes in our direction. So once again, I can be aggressive, or I guess I could just sail all the way back home. Doesn't seem like it's needed right now. So let's just see. Engaging a Colorado in the open is not something you would necessarily want to do in an Atlanta. The ship is just very lightly armored, and you really want to have some island cover if possible. Unfortunately, it's currently not possible. So let's go and do some open water gunboating. Now, since we don't really have vision on the enemy team, we can't say for sure if they are going home to defend or if they are being aggressive. I suppose some of them will probably be aggressive. And you know, my division mate is kind of the furthest ship to the left right now, which is funny because we spotted the furthest to the right in the beginning. And he might become our line of defense if the enemy actually moves that way. And it looks like at least a George is coming. Meanwhile, I'm pretty much unmolested and I can just farm this Colorado, which is pretty neat. Well, I guess some enemies have decided to go for me. And Colorado actually got one salvo off towards me before it went down. Now with 2 fires I will definitely damage condos, especially since it's probably only the garrison are shooting me right now. I think the other ship that's targeting me might just be the destroyer, and we unfortunately don't know exactly where that guy is. Now, the enemy cruiser here is engaged not only by me, but also by the Nürnberg. So we should have no trouble sinking him. I'm taking a bit of damage, but you know, it's, I guess, supposed to happen in an Atlanta. Now, there were some of his torps, and it seems like we all avoided those. Now things are getting a little bit more complicated back at home, because I don't know if you heard the sound right now, but an enemy actually entered our cap. They can't cap right now, because we still have a battleship in there. Oh no, they can, I think, right now, because our Lyon left. Meanwhile, I mean, enemy destroyer here has been found. He tried smoking, I raided him, and that's the end of that. He got too close to an Atlanta. But yeah, friendly carrier is actually spotting the Icarus, which will become... well, which is, I guess, or could be pretty important, because we have ships who can possibly take shots, but then again, the carrier decided to, I don't know, not keep spotting. I mean, he's getting chased by fighters, but really, like, the Independence is so close to the Icarus that his own life is in danger. He has 2 battleships who could take care of this destroyer for him, but he decides that not spotting the destroyer is the way to go. Nothing to do about that. Now I could help the Nürnberg capping, but we have a Fuso charging us, and I don't fancy myself fighting a Fuso that's charging me. Especially if I want to stay in the cap, so... I feel like getting back home and using my raider to fight the last remaining destroyer is the way to go. I mean, overall, it's looking pretty good for us. I don't have to try to make a cap work. I think I'll go for the safe option. And I can speed this up here because I'm just traversing the big MTC. I'm not going to fire here because I really don't want to get spotted on the way. There are battleships that could just take care of me very easily if they could see me. Now, unfortunately, my division mate got taken out there inside the cap. He was in a very bad spot, because he had to fight this destroyer, he had to fight the Iron Duke and the King George, so a lot of fire coming his way with torpedoes. Now the Scharnhorst, on the other hand, who was also like right beside the cap when it got contested, decided that he wants to take his full health and hide behind the friendly carrier. Because that's what you do when your base is under attack and you're in a Scharnhorst, you run away and you hide like, well, I don't know. So, you know, this game that looked like a pretty certain victory might still end up in a defeat, I suppose. But then again, we have the Queen Elizabeth going for the enemy camp. Although the Queen Elizabeth could still get taken out by Kara or something. But most of the enemy forces are here at our base. And look at that, the enemy destroyer is spotted. He managed to disappear for a moment, but hello radar! So yeah, I should be able to take care of that guy, especially since he is coming closer and not running further away. So this salvo, I mean, he's even slow. He's making it easy for me. He saw I had trouble hitting him when he was moving, so he decided, you know what, have a mini kraken. And thanks for that. I'll certainly take it. So can we upgrade the mini kraken to a real kraken? Well, we will see. This Iron Duke seems to be on pretty low health. Then again, I mean, if he shoots armor piercing, one salvo could absolutely take me out, but he doesn't even get a salvo. So we upgraded to a real kraken, and I think right now this is a victory, because, you know, what are they going to do? So here's a King George, and this is not the situation you want to find yourself in. Like, I'm 9 kilometers away from a battleship, and if this guy is shooting armor piercing, he probably needs 1 or 2 salvos to take me down. He's shooting high explosive, and I mean, even if it's high explosive, right, he should do more than enough damage to sink me in a few salvos, like you already saw what this salvo here did. I already used my damage con because I'm on so little health. And yeah, I'm just farming a little bit more damage before I sink here. I got fire, which is pretty neat. He's still going for high explosive, and he's even missing. So some planes are coming in. I really should use defensive fire here. And that's even what I'm doing. Now, in a very interesting plot twist, the King George decided it's a battle that he can't possibly lose. So he decided not to go for it. I guess he felt sorry. I mean, honestly, it would have needed a miracle of epic proportions. It would have needed a detonation for me to be able to sink that George. But the George just said, you know, this battle is so unfair, I'll let you live. I guess I should appreciate that, so thanks, George. Now, meanwhile, we have our full health Scharnhorst, who has decided now is finally the time to move in. All of this health that he has preserved will, I guess, never come to play, but you know, at least he might get a shot off at the George before it's over. The George is still hiding behind this island. Maybe I should have gone around the other way. I expected the George to just keep sailing this way, but it looks like he stopped. He is trying to stay in cover from me and the Scharnhorst, hoping that the clock runs out, probably. No idea why, but you know. So I'm using my radar here just to keep him spotted. I unfortunately can't really get shots at him. This island is too much even for my orbital Atlanta shells. But you know, all that remains to be seen is who can sink this guy. Meanwhile, the enemy carrier is getting hunted down by an Iron Duke. And surprise! There is the win. Yeah, with the results, myself is 2,388 base experience, and it was a pretty fun battle. Didn't expect that from a standard battle, but I even got to use my radar, my anti-air, and yeah, the Atlanta performed really well here. So I unleashed the mini kraken, a real kraken, and got some first blood. I scored 98,000 points of damage, sunk 6 enemies, and well, it was an enjoyable battle. I hope you enjoyed watching it too, and I'll see you guys next time.